Hi, welcome to @Future7's channel. Topic I want to proceed on is Spring Boot. So first is to create the environment that Spring Boot needs. Here is the tutorial I found straightforward, but not the one match my requirement. For example, this guide is not really use the AMI, it's using Linux 2. There are differences between the two. Linux 2 provides less default to be compact and more potential for extension. I have done the installation. For now, it's the walkthrough for the setup. Okay, so this is what you can see. I'm using the Linux AMI. It's easy to create another instance, but I just want to keep everything simple. So I'm continuously using the AMI. AMI was not supported by the default installation. So for here, as you can see, if you want to install the Maven, Maven is the best system Spring Boot required. You need to have at least Java 8. Okay. But this doesn't work at AMI. Here is how AWS support the upgrade. Amazon also denotes this is for Linux 2. So what is the difference about the Linux 2 and AMI? Because AMI doesn't have Amazon Linux Extra, and I'm not able to install that. If I'm not allowed to use Amazon Linux Extras, this is the alternation to install Java 8. So let's see what we can have here. Linux 64 is for AMI version. Yeah, when you check the instance list, you can see there are also ARC 64 and Windows. So those three are what I need to install using RPM. So move back to my PUTTY. Here is how I get the item. First, I copy the here, copy link address. One RPM and DB and GZ. And following the direction Amazon provide, the install is sudo. Use administrator's status and local install command. Okay, this has nothing to do because I already installed that. So after you install this file, it will access the other two files. So you can see the Java version. it goes to Java 8. The default is Java 7. And it didn't really show it's Java. It shows it's a correct version. At the list block, we need to get the package file. So I move to Apache Maven project and use the download. Here are the list. The tutorial is using the zip. Illustration of how I did it. wget and the path. Okay, then follow the tutorial, unzip Apache Maven package and move it to our folder. Rename it to Maven and also update your shell. Add the path for the Maven provided by the website. Here will show how the result appears to be. So this one, Maven, is the new folder. Also edit the profile. Add Maven folder to current path. So add Maven folder to current path. Then reload the environment and check if the path activated. Get the version of the Maven. Since it show up, they succeed. It's not what I really want to follow. It's a Spring Boot install. Here, it just simply tells you to create the pawn manually and type in the setting. You need to trust him on everything. Because this is a compact tutorial, so no blame on the decision. But as a developer, I need more, right? So the next thing is do some research on Maven, inevitably. Here is the tutorial about Maven I thought practical at the beginning. So let's move on. It's a good idea to have more understanding of the tool I'm going to learn. Let's start from here. This is the simple code to create a Maven project. Let's copy and create a new folder. So for a better view of the file system, I also install tree. Let's see the file system. Let's review the command. My first MVN consistent to my group ID and the folder name consistent to the artifact ID. And Maven already create the default file. Maven also set up two versions. One is the production, start from main, and the other is the test version. Here also comes the very important file, pom.xml. This is what MVN generated. Reference back to the first tutorial here. This is why I don't like this sample that much. Because this file should be generated by the environment. If you just manually type in the generated content, it will get unsupported when the version update. This is the same. Create the structure. If you have better understanding on the bus environment Maven, it's much reasonable to let the Maven do it. Currently, I am at the project folder. Just directly compile the sample. So now there is another folder created. The first one, SRC, is the default creation. The target is compiled creation. Let's see what is inside the app Java. First line is define a package. And a simple string hello world. This means we cannot call the class directly. We need to compile it as a package. So let's move on here. Guide to create a simple Maven. Then this one. Use the install command. Okay, what is the difference? Quite many new created items. But this one is what we want to. So how is this name defined? We can move back to the POM. Here, Maven combine your project name with the version. It was created by default. When you continuously update your project, you may want to change the version to different value. So how to execute the package file? Java target and my Java file add. So the first thing I need to provide is the package file. The second thing is the main class. Here. Then this is the result. I'll put a hello world. Here now is how to create a project on Maven. And here is the final file tree. You will have resource definition as POM and source file tree for the production and the test, and target as the output. And you will have a package file you can execute. Here now we successfully create the first package. Here is another tag, deserves try. Here. Yes, there is a group ID and a package ID with the same name. So what about to set it differently? How the package will be defined? Let's take a try. So I get the previous definition here. I need to set it to different name. So just simply name it as 2. copy the tag. This one is I want to keep. Group ID. Some group ID. Okay, this is command I want. Let's see the punkt file. The group ID is different and name is different. No information about the package. Then let's see the structure. Structure is my first MVN, identical to the package, not the group ID. So it will be the same as the previous package. This is the source structure of app name 2. This is the source structure of the app name, the first project. This is how the package tag be used. The next one is to create a simple Maven web application. So I need Maven create a basic file structure. I need the support of Apache. Here are templates Maven supplied. So the first one is to create the basic structure. This one, Maven archetype web app, is the type we need. I'll copy the command and I will need to edit that. The -b is important. If you didn't use the -b, AWS may take place of that. Okay, here are all the settings for archetype group ID. And I also need to put on my group ID and the different name. There is another flag we can use. Package. Let's define it and use different group ID. Okay, then create. We have a main and a web app and the definition. But there is something we need if we are going to create a Java servlet. So let's review the file tree of the previous project. Compare these two on the source file. Maven creates the source file main web app. This is where it starts a difference. From the start, it's much identical to the previous one. Difference is it should create the WAR file here. And the name is fancy. Here is application. Here is the name of our project and the group ID. Then move to the dependency. Then plugins. So what I didn't see is package tag. Actually, I define the package identical to first project is intentional. So I don't need to create a bunch of folders, just copy the previous one. So what is commented show is I copy recursively the Java folder from first project to current path under main. Then this will be consistent to the file structure of the first project. Let's see. Since I'm going to create the Java Servlet, so I need to remove the exist Java file and create a new one. And create a new Servlet file. As I made it a different name because I need to use the reference. I correct the package and the class name, and also change the request name and response name. From this servlet, it write to the response. So the response get writer, then print to the writer. Next is compile it. Not yet. Next thing is to update the POM file to support the servlet. Here are the dependency. First, JUnit is by default. So I need the reference of how the servlet be set. Use the external Servlet API and also the JSP API. After editing the dependency, we also need to tell the server how to deal with that. So that's related to the web XML. Let's see where it is. Okay, here's the default value. Let's see what information we need to provide from the reference. We need to specify there is a servlet and how it be mapped. Is I set the servlet name. Guess who? And the mapping is the servlet map to URL patron. Same. And I also found a class. This is the servlet I have created. from this tutorial, I need to ask Maven to start a service with Jetty. I think most common server is Tomcat. Since this tutorial is using Jetty, it's okay. So this means I need another plugin here. Let's edit the POM file. Plugin is inside the build. Plugins add to the end. This is the reference Maven could find from its own repository. Run the service, and Maven will also compile the source. Let's stop. This is how Maven starts the service and terminates it. So let's see what is already been done. This is only for the task because the final one is to create the WAR file for deployment. The previous SRC is what we have done, and the target is what Maven did after compile. And compiled Servlet class falls here. Then let's start a service again. Shift it to the background. because I didn't set up AWS router 53 to open the port 8080, so the only way I can view the patch is from localhost. It's ancient, but still work. Project name. So what I got is index.html. Hello world. This is not a servlet. This is what JSP provide. So where I can find my servlet, I map that to guess who. Okay, so remove the backslash. I get the new file here. Okay, this is what Servlet provided. Okay, pretty much done. Thanks for watching. My setup on AWS AMI, Java8, and a setup of Maven, and create a standard package. Next is create the web API.